Welcome to BlackUSA.news morning show. I'm your host, William Honolulu Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real. Greetings and salutations, all my people out there in internet land. This is William Honolulu Jr., and I have the privilege and honor of serving as the host of the Black USA News Morning Show. We have a lot of great stuff happening in the world right now, and a lot of trying stuff as well. In many of the communities that we engage, or many of the organizations that support the communities that we engage, they have challenges. They're having challenges right now, and a lot of it has to do with violence. And so we're going to be talking about what organizations can do and what we can do as individuals to combat violence. We have with us, well, hopefully we will have with us Commissioner Tanya McKenzie. She's running a little behind. She's on the West Coast and we're on the East Coast. So, it's really early in the morning for her. And I think she's running a little bit late, but we're going to go on and have some fun and enjoy ourselves. As always, today, I want to say a big shout out to the super producer, Kyle Crazy Horse Morgan, who keeps everything together, make sure that we are always on point and making sure that we also stay anchored in supporting the community. We don't want to be one of those organizations that, oh, she's here, we have our guest. We don't want to end up being one of those organizations or one of the shows that lose touch with the people that we serve. We don't want to just start doing the fancy stuff and the fun stuff, because we know there's fancy and fun in our neighborhoods, in our areas, in our communities. We want to anchor into that. We want to make sure that we are always staying focused and supporting the communities that we serve. And I'm grateful for Crazy Horse for keeping us focused in that way. You all know what time it is. It's time to talk about the people who make this possible, our sponsors. J. Wendell Gordon, the Warrior Lawyer. The Warrior Lawyer. It's difficult for me to say that. I think like my tongue is too big or something. Sometimes it is. But the Warrior Lawyer, when you have a criminal justice issue, if you find yourself on the wrong side of law enforcement, make sure you give J. Wendell Gordon's office a call, because they have not just a reputation, they have a history. It's one thing when you have a reputation, that's what people say about you. But when you have a history, when you have documented evidence that you go into court for your clients on a regular basis and you bring back wins and you ensure that their rights are protected, not just getting people off, because that's a great part about your lawyer. Now, if you go to your lawyer, that's what you want. But he makes sure that all of your rights are preserved, not just let's settle just to make this go away. It's making sure that you have your full day in court if that's what you choose. And he gives great advice, and it doesn't hurt you to give him a call. You know how I feel about Darker Than Blue. I'm waiting for the weekend so I can get something good to eat. You know what? I had the salmon, so I think I might try something different. I don't know. If you all got any suggestions you want to leave in the comments, please feel free to do so, because I'm always looking for something new and something good to eat. What else? Oh my gosh, we are the first Black multimedia company to stream live our network, to stream live in the metaverse. And that's thanks to STEM City USA. Dr. Tyrone Taborn and his staff over there do an amazing job. And we are just really lucky to be part of that partnership. I got a recommendation for this weekend, the Cowboy Prime Rib. All right, it looks like I know what I'm going to eat at Darker Than Blue this weekend, the Cowboy Prime Rib. That sounds like I'm gonna have to, wait a little bit to eat more, eat a lot. Don't eat a lot that day, because that sounds like it's gonna fill me up pretty good. So I'm sorry, you talked about food again, and I got sidetracked. But STEM City USA, appreciate Dr. Tyrone Taborn and all the stuff that they do. And make sure that you all are in the metaverse, because that is going to be the new wave. And what we don't want to do is be on the back end of that wave, like there are so many waves in our community. Normally, other people get technology, other communities get access to resources, and then when it's our turn, they're the secondary resources or the backups, or we get left behind. And that now they're saying things like, "Oh, if you need more experience, but you didn't let us get experience to begin with." So that's why we're really big into STEM and making sure that as a community we understand and stay on the cutting edge of what's popping and what's good. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, I think that's to the food of darker than blue. It's all good. Okay, I know that's right. Murphy, Falcone, and Murphy, I tell you all the time, Judge Murphy has been advocating for civil rights for African Americans, and defending rights of people in civil litigation since I've been an adult. And he's continued that practice in his law firm with his partners. And if you find yourself on the wrong side of civil litigation or the wrong side of an issue, give that firm a call. Again, it doesn't hurt you do anything. It does not hurt you to give them a call and to make sure that your rights are protected. Edible arrangements. You all know how I love the pineapple dove with the white chocolate, but they have amazing fruit, and it's consistently amazing. So if you have an opportunity to go and celebrate something, stop by Edible Arrangement, especially if you're in the greater Baltimore area, stopping by the stores in Govins or Randallstown, or the store in Pittsburgh. And of course, can't leave myself out. The Grinding Gang is my company, and we help businesses go to the next level. There's a lot of information out there, what to do in this situation. There's a new article every day. Your banker has some information, this person, that person, your staff, your funders. There's so much to try to figure out. At the Grinding Gang, we help you make sense of it all. Because sometimes it's not you don't have the resources. Sometimes it's just you don't know what to do with the resources. And we want to help you with that. And guess what? Membership is free. Now, again, I need to make sure you know everything ain't free, but membership is free. And that gives you access to a lot of, oh, good morning, Shonda. That gives you access to a lot of the videos and digital tools and some of the free workshops that we have. So make sure you hit us up at grindinggang.com. All right, let's see what else is happening in the world that I need to tell you about. Oh, last night, Carla Nelson Chambers talked to N. Scott Phillips from the Minority Business Development Agency in Baltimore on Conference Room Conversations. It was really great. Talked about the evolution, how the Minority Business Development Agency came into existence and how it took support from political leaders, from business leaders, and how everybody working together actually got that done. It birthed it into existence, and it was really great to hear that conversation, and also take it beyond how it got started, but also how it provides resources to the community now. And you know how we are all about those resources to the community. Oh my God. So that was awesome. So if you did not catch that last night, please make sure you stop by our website and our social media pages, and the metaverse if you want to. And make sure you check us out, because that's a really good conversation, especially if you're in a community that is looking for resources to really develop the capacity of minority and women-owned businesses in your area. To see how other places have done it becomes a really great template, or really great template on what you can do in your space and in your place. Yesterday's show, if you missed that, you need to go back and check that out. We talked to author Glenda Lazo, who wrote the book Letters to My Bipolar Self. It was an incredibly moving time. Now, granted, I did have to catch a few fines because I got worked up and I used some of the profanities. So yeah, that I might have to pay a little bit for it, but it was worth it. To again talk about the importance of mental health in our community, and really figuring out, or not figuring out, but coming to the conclusion, whether it's bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, the first step is going out and finding treatment. and really talking about why it's important to engage professional therapists and counselors and medical professionals and mental health professionals, and not just rely on your personal support network. She talked about how great and how important her personal support network was, but she also made sure she indicated that while that was important, it was also important to have people who understood the disorder, who understood some of the treatments, who were researched when well read on these topics, and bring them to the table to support health. And the main thing that we come away with from that conversation yesterday is that people with bipolar disorder are people. That's it. They're people. They don't have to be your people, like family members or whatever, but they're people. And if we do a better job at starting to meet people where they are and who they are, then I think we'll be in a lot better position, not just for people who have diagnoses like bipolar, but for all of us. We're all carrying burdens that no one else can see. And if we become more human in our engagement, I think things will go pretty well. That's my opinion and what we came to on the show yesterday. So again, if you missed that show, you need to go ahead back and check it out, because it was a great one. Tomorrow's show, we talked to Cassandra Hill, a Christian holistic wellness influencer and speaker who really focuses on helping women overcome physical challenges that they've encountered. Well, not overcoming them, but figuring out how those medical challenges and other challenges fit into their whole lives. So we're looking forward to that. We got to do some shout outs to some beautiful Black people. Big shout out to Dr. Corinne Hunt, the Deputy Director of the Johns Hopkins Biochemistry, Cellular and Molecular Biology graduate program, and a really good friend. Little known fact, Dr. Hunt wasn't always Dr. Hunt. At one point when she was in school, she actually watched our sons, LJ and Diddy. And she has been a wonderful friend to the family this entire time. And a big shout out to Paulette Duncan of Huber Memorial Church in Baltimore, where Pastor P.M. Smith presides. So big shout out to our friends and family out here in the space and in the place. But now I have the privilege of introducing you to our guest today. We gonna have a good time. I normally bring you all people, well, not normally, we have a very diverse crowd of Black folks who come to the table and share their perspectives and really help us understand community different. Today, this is no different. I mean, y'all, I understand why you all keep coming, because I bring incredible people to you so you all can understand who is making the things in our communities happen. So today we have an opportunity to talk to Commissioner Tanya McKenzie. And, Commissioner is a fancy title, and it's well-deserved. Commissioner McKenzie is not only an author, not only a motivational speaker, not only a consultant, not only a coach, not only actively engaged in her business community, she also is a commissioner on the Human Relations Commission. And for a lot of people, they don't know what human relations commissions do. But human relations commissions are really responsible of providing that intersection between where the community starts and government, basically making sure that government is responsible and responsive to the needs of the entire community. And roles like hers are critically important because it gives us a voice at the table to make sure that our needs are being met, are being heard. Hell, at some points, just known that hey, we have needs, because sometimes the dominant population or the dominant cultures tend to seem like, oh no, you all are good, just because we tend to handle it well. We know we not, but it's like people like Commissioner McKenzie here who make sure that they know as well. So welcome, Commissioner. How you doing? Oh, are you on West Coast time and got bought out the necklace? Okay, all right, I feel you.
You know what? I'm so excited to be here with you. I don't know what my kids had for breakfast or nothing. I just know that I wanted to be here with you and your people and engaged in this conversation, because everything that you talk about is integral to human relations. So even talking about mental health and meeting people where they are and meeting their needs, that's all human relations. How do we relate to one another? How do we do better relating to one another? And how do we teach other people to meet us where we are, no matter where we are? You
Right.
cannot just not meet people at all. You know what I'm saying? You can't just
Right.
leave them out there to flutter and do it on their own, because government is actually built to provide services and provide safety.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you starting with Civics 101? Are you starting with the role of government? Come on, let's go ahead and do that. I love it.
Well, I'm not sure people really know these types of things. So it's always interesting when folks is like, that's my right. I get to do that. I get to do what I want to do. And I'm like, well, there are
I wish I had all the rights that people talk about, especially on Fox News. Honestly, I wish I had some of them. But I imagine that's one of the reasons that they respond to the way they do, because they believe all of these things are rights.
100%.
And I mean, think about walking through the world. When I was young, my mother used to talk not favorably about only children, because for her, especially since she came from a family of 9, totally different experience. But for her, all the only children she knew, they believe everything should be theirs. Sharing wasn't something that they knew, and stuff like, oh, you are only child. Are you an only child?
Right. That's your disability.
But so that was her thing about only children. But it sounds like that model is what happens a lot of time in the dominant culture. Like, how many times, like, you can't come into my business and say this, that, or the third, because it's my right. I have my right to free speech. Like, have you read anything on free speech? So yeah, I appreciate the fact. Yeah, sorry, you got me.
Rights for my right. Also come with responsibilities. Rights come with responsibilities. Just like San Jose just passed a new law. If you're going to have a gun, because you have a right to have a gun, right, your responsibility is to now have insurance. They don't like it. We'll go move somewhere else, because here your right also carries a responsibility.
Right.
That's how it works. You don't just get rights with no responsibility. It doesn't work that way. You have the right to have a child, but you're also responsible for what they do until they're 18, or you could be held liable. Rights come with responsibility.
Absolutely. And I think that is a point that is so overlooked when we are talking to not just community members or whoever happens to be in power. And I think that's all, that idea about the responsibility that comes along with our rights gets us lost sometimes. And we talk about it here a lot with elected officials, like, I voted, why isn't my life better? It's like, whoa. You're like, okay, you voted. And you know, wherever we have a politician who comes on and asks, like, you know, and one of the questions you have to be prepared to answer here is, what do we do in your first 100 days? Because a lot of times we talk about what is the commissioner going to be doing in her first 100 days, and it's like, okay, she can do all she wants, but she didn't create these problems, and she isn't the only one who can come around to fix them. And by the way, our government is specifically designed for that not to happen. Right. So you know what? I forget that a lot of people, you know, they didn't do the pre-show research, because I forget to send that out in my notes ahead of time. I apologize. So tell them what the Human Relations Commission is. I briefly touched on it, but I know, at least in Baltimore, it is a very integral part of ensuring that even the government even knows that there's a problem. So tell us how you all work in California.
So in Los Angeles County, which is the largest county in the United States, our job as the Human Relations Commission is to facilitate and foster better relations with our county through equity, anti-hate programs, education equity, juvenile justice programs, and policing. So we have ad hoc, you know, the policing commission committee, and other committees ad hoc that can come up based on what's going on in the county. So homelessness, definitely a big one. The policing is, you know, right now it's huge. So we do a lot of work on that, but mostly it comes down to thinking about equity and justice. So when things are awry to a point where it's obvious that there's some injustice or imbalance, there's an opportunity for us to find ways for it to do better. And we partner with other nonprofits and organizations that are doing the work to bring them even deeper into the process to try to bring better relations between communities, between the government, between other civic organizations that service the county to make sure that we're doing it better. For instance, in Pasadena, during the summer when the Black Lives Matter marches were going on, there were a lot of violent acts that took place towards Black people, obviously, right?
Yes.
And they filed police reports, and we found out, a year and a half later that those police reports that were filed against people that were causing violence towards Black people or those that were protesting for the Black Lives Matter never got followed up on. Never. No arrest, no nothing. So they let us know. Then we start to, bring people in to kind of to talk to us, tell us why, talking to chiefs, talking to others that had a part in that, and dissecting it, and then saying, this is what happened. If we have to write letters and write things to the media to let them know, if there's no resolution, then we start to elevate it to our county supervisors. And then they start to take action. And then that's where you see, new laws being proposed. I don't know if you saw the Bruce's Beach incident out here.
No, tell us about it.
So Bruce's Beach, and it's just one of the many properties, beachside properties in Southern California that were basically stolen from Black people. And these properties could have been a few $1,000s back then, but they're multi-million-dollar properties now. So someone brought that to the attention of the county supervisor. She then tells us to start doing the research on this, what happened, bringing that information back to them. Basically, the Bruce's family just got their land back.
Oh.
Legally.
Wow.
You have this now $100 million land back.
Wow, that's big.
It's huge.
That's big.
So there's a whole movement now, Give Back Black, getting all the land back from people that just stole Black land. What happened was they had a resort where Black people could come and enjoy the beach. And the people that don't look like us didn't like that. So the KKK would come and others would try to run them out and try to burn it down. So eventually the city ceased the land and said, because eminent domain, because we're going to we need a park right here. They got that land back, and the park, 10 years went by, no park. Now it's owned by the county. So someone said, hey, this wasn't right. What happened to this family? They need their land back. You stole their land.
Right.
That is a Human Relations Commission job. And we worked hard to do the work, to notify the community, to fight continuously for this project. And Bruce's Beach is now back in the hands of the original owners' families. So now there's generational wealth that never would have happened. But that is a perfect example of what the Human Relations Commission does.
Oh, that is a great example, and it really sends home the importance of being actively engaged in things like the Human Relations Commission and these other things, because a lot of people don't even know they exist. They think a lot of times it's just me out here by myself. I have to fight the government. I have to fight these things. And so how does somebody, even if, let's say I'm in Chicago right now and I'm listening to this as I am safely at my desk doing multitasking and not getting in trouble listening, because this is informative and it's helping you at your job, so it's okay. So I'm in Chicago. I'm working, listening, enjoying the BlackUSA.news morning show with Commissioner Tanya McKenzie on it today, and I'm like, wow, this sounds really interesting. How do I find out if I even have one? Does everybody have one? Should I, or would it even be relevant for me? So how would I even start this conversation for my city?
So here's the thing for me. I've always been an advocate of understanding the process and understanding where you are. Every state, county government has a different organizational chart. their hierarchy, their protocols. For me, I've always wanted to know what that looks like, because when something happens, I need to know who to call. I'm all about solutions. I've always been that way. I'm all about solutions. Something ain't right, who do I call? And they're not taking care of it, who do I call? So understanding the process and the organizational structure of your government is important. Even now, police departments, people think all police departments are the same, they're all organized the same, and they're just not. So when you say things like, I'm sorry, I hope y'all don't get mad, like defund the police, you're like, well, this department over here has what you say police departments need. So if we defund them, we're getting rid of the services
that you're talking about.
You wanted the police departments to have. So the truth of the matter is, every government, every state government, local government, regional, they're all structured differently based on the state and county that you're in.
Right.
For instance, Mississippi still has separate proms, right?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Right. Yeah. Why is that? Why does that upset me, but not upset the people in Mississippi? Well, they're organized differently. They're in parishes. They're organized differently. So if you do want to get involved, you just have to start looking at your city and state websites and finding out what you offer. And if you decide you want to be a part of the solution, you make a phone call. You fill out the application. You do whatever is required for you to get involved. I personally am a habitual complainer, but I will also be someone that jumps in to help
do some work,
make it better, because I ain't got no patience either. So waiting for someone else to fix it, it's not going to work for me. It's just not.
You're not just going to sit there and wait for things to just go. Like, no. We need to make this happen. Who we calling?
Yeah, I'm on my way to the office while I'm on hold. Okay, like I'm not.
You know what? I would love to go out to dinner with you, because I'd be like, yeah, I dare you to mess up my steak. I dare you to mess up my steak.
I'm in the back. I'm in the kitchen. I'm with
you. Right, Erica, that part. So tell us about how you got started in advocacy, because it I know you didn't just jump into commissioner. Like, I know between your writing and your experiences in the community and some of the tragedies that have befallen you throughout your life have really shaped your perspective and really shaped the way that you engage. Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
So I'm a gun violence survivor. At the age of 5, I witnessed my mom being shot and her boyfriend being killed. This is crazy. It's still crazy to me 40 years later. But when the police came, the ambulance came, they took me to my grandmother's house, where I just went back to school on Monday. Like it's really crazy to me how now that I look back on it, how they dealt with domestic violence back in the day. It was either you come,
something that happens,
it was just transactional. Anyways, when I went back to school, continued to live I didn't know if my mom was dead or alive. I went back to school. One day, some men came and picked me up from school, white men in nice suits. And they took me to the airport, and we got on the airplane, and my mom was sitting there. And they whisked us away. It was actually my first night flight. And I found out later we went to New York. We stayed in a hotel with these men for a while, some months. I find out later I was in a federal witness protection program.
Wow.
So after the trial, my mom actually perjured herself on the stand, because the man that shot her was my uncle. And my family was trying to get her to say that it was an accident, to defend him.
Oh, wow.
Right. And I'm 5 at the time, 5 and a half.
Right.
This went on till about 8. Yeah. So she perjured herself. So then we had to do time in a federal witness in a federal prison for women with children. Most people don't know that those things actually exist. But yeah, I spent time in a prison with my mother and other women that had children back in those days. So we eventually get out. She suffers from massive depression. So it's crazy. You were talking about mental illness. People didn't recognize back then that depression was a mental illness.
Right.
So
just perk up. Yeah, perk up.
And she was pregnant when she got shot. So my brother was actually born, and we didn't find out this later, with bipolar disorder. He was later diagnosed with bipolar.
Okay.
His moods were all over the place. All that being said, I had about 21 addresses before I graduated high school
Mm-hmm.
and probably have been involved with the police over 100 times because domestic violence obviously ran rampant in my family. And it was just a thing. Like we have a
It's what we
party on
do.
Friday, somebody gets punched in the nose, there's blood all over the place, and then we get back together again next Friday. I mean, it's just a thing. So you grow up thinking that this is normal.
Right.
As I got older and recognized, this isn't normal. I thought something was wrong with me. But continuing to move forward, I went to Grambling University because I was like, I got to get away from these people. But then you realize I love my family. I just don't like the stuff that goes on.
Right.
So how do you, as a young person, how do you balance that out?
Mm-hmm.
I transferred to Cal State Northridge where I could go home if I wanted to, but mostly I just needed my peace. I needed somewhere where I could study and do my stuff. And if I wanted to go back, I could.
Right.
All that being said, while I was at the school, I started to get involved in the school's politics. So I actually became a senator at Cal State Northridge because, again, I'm a habitual complainer. So then I get to be a part of the solution.
Right.
But recognizing that for every problem, there is a solution, and you can become a part of the solution if you're willing to do the work.
Right.
If you're willing to do the work. And the president of our university came from a political family, so he knew the ins and outs. So I used to just watch him, how they move, how you get things done. Northridge was the school that fell down when the massive earthquake happened out here in Northridge. So we have the FEMA money that came in. So even understanding how you spend federal funds, those are things I got to be a part of. Those are opportunities that I got to witness. How does it work when you get money and you want to spend it? You can't just go write checks and buy stuff. You actually have to put on a ballot and convince people that what you want to do is the right thing, and then get them to vote for your idea. Mm-hmm. And part of that was learning that it don't always work out your way. You're selling them the wrong way because our first initiative failed. I also worked for the athletic department, and we needed a new gym, and we used to travel. I got to travel with the directors to go look at other schools and put together a package and try to sell it to the school. Like, hey guys, this is great. We put this together. And they were like, yeah, no. So being a part of failure is also something that you learn how to sell your idea to people in a way that galvanizes them around what it is, because you have a vision in your head, especially as a salesperson. You have a vision in your head about how this is supposed to work, and they don't see it. So either you're not communicating it well or your idea sucks. Like either one of them, either one of those is just not a good thing.
Well, wait. Your idea may suck for them. Yeah, you just want to make sure because we got a lot of people, real talk, in our community who have the imposter syndrome, and they're like, "Oh my God, she's right, I do suck." Oh man, it's like she ain't even say that, and then they like, "Well, I know I suck because Commissioner McKenzie said I suck. She said when you think about it, and I suck. I was thinking about it, and I suck. So there you go." Yes, and I know that's not what you were saying, so I just wanted to clear it up real quick. You know what I mean?
How you communicate your ideas is important.
Yes,
that was really the takeaway.
Absolutely.
How you communicate, how you bring people into your process of coming to that idea, those are all integral parts of any process. So once I was around my junior year in college, I started feeling like, okay, I'm about to be an adult. Like I'm gonna be on my own. Wait a minute. There's somebody that shot somebody that's might be about to get out of jail. So actually, while in my junior and senior year of college, I spent time finding out what had happened with the murderer. Where he was. What I did find out is he wasn't alone.
Wait. Let's be clear, because I want to make sure I got the story straight. The murderer was your uncle.
It was.
Okay, just want to, okay.
My great uncle, my mom's uncle, my great uncle.
Okay, her uncle, got it.
What I knew is that he was a very dangerous man. And I think I felt safe in college, right? On campus. That was my little safe world. But I started having a level of anxiety about what happens once I'm not in my little safe world anymore. So I started making phone calls and finding out where he was and how do I continue to keep myself safe. What I didn't know was that I was already registered for victim services.
So they had registered, they didn't even tell you.
Right. So I was registered for victim services, and I could continue to write letters and do whatever needed to be done every time he came up for parole
Right.
to keep him there.
Mm-hmm.
So while my friends were out at clubs, I was recording videos or driving out to the prison to testify at his parole hearings
right.
to make sure that he stayed in.
Okay. Okay.
And
That's a different type of experience than many of our in many of us for our senior year of college.
It was pretty, and I wouldn't tell anybody. So even
so you had to carry this by yourself. Right. In addition to this being like this amazing weight, you had to carry that whole thing yourself.
By myself.
Wow.
All by myself. Not only that, I think the more that I dug into this and recognized, this is the thing. There were a lot of people involved in this. So I became a little enlightened about how toxic family dysfunction can be.
Right.
And that was disheartening because one, they didn't even know that I was digging into this and seeing them through a different light. And two, I'm trying to process this on my own, especially back then. Mental health wasn't a thing. That wasn't a conversation we were having.
You are either weak, you need to pray more, or you're being punished. So pick one of those three. Either way, just suck it up and keep it moving. And don't bother us.
I became incredibly angry, and I couldn't talk to anybody about it because who do you talk to about? Who you gonna tell your mama you mad that she had all this mess going on in your life? Who you gonna tell your uncle and my cousins that still go visit him in prison, even though he shot your mama or shot your cousin, but y'all still hang out? You still go send him money on his books? One of my cousins got a car while he was in prison. So I find out later, so I'm grown now. I write my book, I start doing more research. I find out that, so Kamala Harris played a very integral role in this process.
Okay.
She actually kept him in prison. They set him up on a sting. He was still selling dope in prison. So he said he had cancer. He got cancer meds. They would make it into other drugs and sell them.
Wow.
He had people sending him drugs. He was basically running the prison, sending money to people out on the outside that was keeping tabs on me.
He was sending reverse books.
Right.
Wow.
All of that is a process that no one was able to help me with, but making the right calls and asking the right questions, I was able to get the answers because there is a process, there is a structure to protect victims of violent crime that I never knew even existed. Right? There are therapists that can see when you're triggered or help you understand that's a trigger. You probably should be there. Those are things that I used to leave parties with my girlfriends. I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta. We would go to, step shows and parties, and I would leave a lot. And they'd be like, every time we turn around, you done left. Stop leaving. And I always thought that was something wrong with me. And after talking to a therapist, obviously, she was like, you're triggered in large places or places that have a lot of hectic stuff going on.
Yep.
But by then it's like 30 years later, 25 years later, not understanding why some of these behaviors I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
So all that being said, understanding that by doing the process, if you have a problem and you work the process and you find out how an organization operates or how your government operates or how things work, you can actually find solutions. So he finally got out. He finally got out about 4 years ago, and he was about to die from cancer. So he has passed. But even then, they still let me know, right? They let me know he got out. They let me know where he went. I got to talk to them about, like, my brother's over here. Please make sure you look out for him.
Yes.
There is a process for everything, even something as convoluted as childhood trauma, gun violence, and just feeling protected in this country.
You are absolutely right. There was one part about this, though, that I want to kind of to um, dig into with you for a little bit is how did you develop the resilience to continue through this process? Because, having been a government employee and working with the legal system and stuff like that, I do recognize that while there is a process, sometimes there are points where the process fails. And you talked about it in your academic development and preparation with the athletic department, and how you were able to come back from that. But this is a lot more personal, a lot more engaged, a lot more involving family, like all of these different parts of your identity. And I imagine sometimes it would have been easy to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna let this go and keep moving on. Why didn't you just stop at any one point? How did you keep going?
So at one point, I recognized I could have been dead. Like, I still didn't
Right.
understand why he didn't shoot me too,
Right.
or him and his friends that came in the house. And I think I've always had this question in my head: why am I still here? Because it was that easy. He shot his niece to try to kill this man. So when I processed that, I'm like, why would he leave a witness? Like,
Right.
why? Was he just not thinking? I don't know why he did what he did, but there's a reason that I'm still here. I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to keep going until I get an answer.
And assume that your steps are ordered and you're going to hit what you need to hit. Like, I'm going to just keep doing stuff and it's going to get where it needs to gone to.
And that's it. And I think I've always been an advocate for youth since then, because I started recognizing, like, this fool really stole my childhood. Like, he really stole my child. And that is not okay. It's not okay. And I started to get really, I get really enamored by kids and watching them just enjoy their youth. I've always thought that is such an amazing thing.
Right.
When they are just in their element, they're watching cartoons or they're playing at the park, and our youth deserve that. So even hearing about violence in other states and other counties, I hate that so much that really all I want to do, and I've dedicated myself to trying to leave this world better than I got it. Eventually, maybe I'll find an answer to why. He dead now, so I don't know. I might not never know. But what I do know is that our kids deserve to be able to enjoy their youth. And if I can do anything and leave this world in a better place for them to be able to do that, I'm all for it. I'm all in on that.
What I have learned through therapy and reflection and some other stuff is that no matter, you will never actually know this, whatever the answer to this question is, as a fact. So you get to make up the story in your head because you were going to do it anyway. So, I mean, if you want a quick story, I'll come up with one for you. So this is why you was here, so you could be on this show right now, because somebody listening to this right now was trying to figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to go through it. And, so you can just do whatever the hell you want with the rest of your life because you hit the purpose. So if you need a story in your head about your purpose, why you survive, have that one. Because I know that this conversation has helped me look at things a little bit differently. And so that's probably your purpose, because I'm an amazing person. I'm gonna take this and do something else with it. So congratulations, you're done. That's what you was there to do. So go enjoy the rest of this time, girl. Especially because because we do research here. Don't get it. Crazy Horse is on his game, and so you don't even you don't just get engaged with people from this kind of look. That's kind of look from, let me help you in this way. You're not just like, hey, violence is my thing, so I'm going to focus on that exclusively. You are actively involved in the business community. You are actively involved in health and wellness with youth and adults. Like, you are actively involved, because I counted up the hours and we should only have 168. Then I looked at your website and some other stuff about you, and then I did the math and I was like, hey, wait a minute. So how do you get it done?
I don't know. I just do it. And I think that my grandfather used to say, he also was someone that he worked, and then he would come home and work on other projects for churches and The man was a construction worker, and he would come home and he built his wife a beauty shop connected to their home in Palo Alto, so that she didn't have to get up and actually go somewhere. So she did hair and made six figures from her home, and he did that. So watching that, I don't have any excuses. Like, he was someone, my grandfather was very integral in my life. Okay. I didn't have my dad. He wasn't around. I can tell you that story one day too, but he wasn't around. My grandfather was like the father to me. So I just watched him. I literally watched him work. My time with him was sitting in his Ford truck at 4 a.m. to go to sites that he was working on. So being able to have people in your life that show you what hard work is, that show you what no excuses look like, that will tell you the truth about life and not try to coddle you. Those things are important. How do you do it? You just get it done. I don't know how to make excuses. I know how to, if I'm tired, maybe it won't get done. That's not an excuse, it's a reason. There's a difference. But I wasn't raised on excuses. You just keep going. You get it done.
So one of the things that I do recognize, especially today's show and yesterday's show, the things that you all have been talking about have been how important the models in your life have been, even if you didn't recognize it at the time, and the type of network and support, and it transforms things. And so I think that kind of goes a long way with this as well. Is that it's if I like, there's a story about this eagle that landed on a farm and broke his arm, or eagle chick. But okay, I'm gonna get the story right. Give me a second, because it just came to my head. I was like, wait a minute, how does it go? How does it go? And I'm trying to think and talk at the same time. Give me a second. So a baby eagle was found by this farmer. He took the eagle back and had the eagle around chickens. And so the eagle, as it's healing its baby chick, didn't know anything other than life as a chicken, and did not realize that it wasn't a chicken. It didn't know that it could fly. It would hop just like all the rest of the chickens did, not because it did not have the capacity, but because it did not know that that was even a possibility for it. And what you have illustrated is that these models that we have in our lives become the foundation. You don't know that there's any other way. Like, I had a similar experience. My dad worked all the time, like, and he would, and yeah, I think part of his was a coping mechanism for some other mental health issues, but that was his thing. And so, like, when I don't know, when I'm in an emotional place, when I don't know what to do, if I start working on something, then because my mind is like, oh, that's what we do. We know that part. We know working. Okay. So everything else is falling down around me, but I can control, and I know this. And it sounds like that was because of the model I had. Yesterday, Glenda was talking about how she engages communities and talks about mental health, and it sounded a lot like the love and support that her network showed her. And again, today we have that. So it really comes back to how important parents are.
The sad part, the double-edged sword with that though, is when you have the people around you that aren't doing the right thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And that becomes your model. That's the hard part. Or when you're someone that's had a good balance of both, how do you choose one way or the other?
Well, I think part of the issue is, and this is part of my ongoing therapeutics. I think part of it is this idea that there are answers to any of these questions.
Right.
So, what should I be doing? Well, whatever the hell you choose to do. Like, it's a decision. Like, what is my purpose on life? The fuck I choose. Damn it again. All right, well, here we go. We're gonna start wrapping. At least I made it to almost the end of the show, right? Like, almost the end of the show. Thank you, Erica. But like, we are struggling to find answers to questions, and I personally believe a lot of this stuff is anchored in this capitalist idea of what life and success should look like. Even we talk about it often, how even racism and racial animus, misogyny are tools of capitalism. because they keep groups oppressed so they can be further exploited for their resources, whether that be labor, capital, or whatever. And so, we find ourselves back in this very similar place because those lessons keep us striving, because it's the next job, it's the next degree, it's the next marriage, it's the next, as opposed to and after all those next, you get to a point where it's like, you know what? Those were the good old days.
Right. 100%. 100%.
So we got a little bit of time left, and so you might not know how we do here, but you better sell something here. You better tell them about you, where they can contact you or something. We got Black excellence all over the screen and stuff today. You better let them know how they can continue to engage with you.
One of the most important things that I got when I started doing inventory of my life was the fact that my story really isn't just my story. It's not for me. It's for others. And That's how I wound up founding my company, Sand and Shores, because companies, law enforcement, even civic organizations, they don't really tell the stories of the lives that they affect, right? So I am a publicist, a PR professional, storyteller. I love it because it helps people. It helps them teach other people how to do things in a better way or just a different way. What do I sell? The opportunity to nail down your personal brand, because personal branding is huge. Tell people all the time, you are not your past. Well, who are you? Who are you? Who do you want to be? And how do you become that? What are those steps? What does that look like? I was recently named, this is crazy, Redondo Beach Woman of the Year.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Well, so let me let y'all know. We do our research, and I heard that she damn near run Redondo Beach up in that joint. Like, she on everybody council, everybody advisory board, everybody. Oh, hey, we need to commission. Yeah, okay. Don't do the humility thing here. We don't do that. There's no humbleness here. We better be as good as we are. Damn it.
And listen, Redondo Beach is 3% Black people. So understand that a lot of people in the city are not happy about that. But the people that are happy about it are those that want to get shit done. I'm sorry. I'm you.
Oh, no, you can go ahead and please on my behalf. Say it again. I'm sorry. I can't do it, but you a guest. I can't control you, and that's what I'm gonna say too. Know what? That's a good point. I might have to start making that arrangement to get with guests. Like, hey, could you do me a favor? Say this, that, and third. Okay, never mind. Separate.
But the truth is, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever you want to accomplish, it's yours for the taking. Sometimes you just need to understand how to do that. What is the process? Understanding the process. So your personal branding, where you want to go in leadership, whether you want to lead in your community, your home. Sometimes you struggle for leadership in your own home. How do you do that? A government position in your job. You've been waiting for this promotion for the last 5 years.
Right.
You're missing something. Let's talk about that. Let's figure out how you get there. I want to see more women in leadership, more people of color in leadership. So personal branding and PR is my thing. You can always find me at Sand and Shores on all social media platforms. It's easy that way. I help authors get their books out and continuously sell them, because a lot of people will sell you on writing the book and maybe even the first couple of months, but it is actually a lifetime thing. You can continue to use your book to sell yourself, to sell your business, your talents, your stories. And that's what we do. We work with authors, nonprofits, civic organizations, law enforcement. I know some of y'all don't like them, but they actually do some good things.
And honestly, to the point about law enforcement, we bang with good people who do good things. And just because you got a badge don't mean that you're the devil. And just because you got a badge don't mean you're an angel. And that's one of the things that we talk about often in places like the Human Relations Commissions, at least yours and the one in Baltimore, the ones that I'm familiar with. They focus on the fact that people are people, that their unique experiences come to the table and inform and influence how they engage the rest of the world. Absolutely. And if we, we categorize people because it's easy for us. oh, you a black woman from LA? Okay, I know how you all are. Hey, how's it going? And it's like and then no matter who you are, I've come to realize that no matter who you are, if somebody says that you're a stereotypical person from where you're from, people just get offended. Like
Yeah.
they don't know what you're talking about, but that idea is like, oh, you seem like a LA woman. Like, I'm sorry, wait, sir, ma'am, what do we? And again, because I see you, girl. What do you? Oh, I mean, excuse me, I forgot. We're professional here because you can game recognize game, and you smell like you've not always worn nice clothes. You smell like you know, if they don't well, I had a situation once where I was representing a woman in a divorce, and her husband thought I was her boyfriend just trying to front like a lawyer. And so he decided he wanted to roll up on me. But he had my mailing address and not my physical address. And I had to tell her, I was like, I don't know who he thinks I am, but I've not always worn a suit. I grew up during the crack epidemic. And my family is all from the South. They hit people. So he might not want to do that because
Ever again.
And the thing is, like, it's I think of it, but that's important. You know what I mean? Like those ideas that we are human beings who are not always I've not always been this, and I will not be this for much longer. Tomorrow I'm going to be a totally different person than I am today. Yeah. Maybe not totally, but something's going to change. And if we don't respect people for that part, if we don't recognize that, whether it's in a relationship, well, when we got married, you did this. You mean 15 years ago?
Right.
Like
I am not that person.
I don't even know her. Honestly, I don't want to be her no more. Like, she wasn't that smart because I don't know how old you are, whenever, but you always look back at, like, for me, I was like, oh my God, I did not realize how dumb I was. And I was smart then.
100%.
And it's like, huh.
But we are all a culmination of our experiences. So if you've opened yourself up to new experiences, you are not the same person. The problem is we do have a lot of people in our communities that will decide they don't want to experience nothing else. They don't travel. They don't lead a little bubble. They don't experience. They're not open-minded. Even when I moved here to Redondo, it was like, what you doing there? I'm having a different experience.
But my thing is, it is important for you to find the experience that works for you.
Yeah.
I know, I know there the conversations that I have with some of my friends, and somebody will say that they do something like, oh my God, what? And it's like, oh, I mean, no, what? I was saying, I heard somebody had done stuff like that, because now apparently everybody seems a little bit more uncomfortable in the room. But in addition to being open to new things, please also be open to letting some things go.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Because again, like, and I think you illustrate a really great example, and one of the reasons that people should hit you up at Sand and Shore on all social media platforms is because you illustrate that your circumstances don't have to define your future.
Absolutely.
Like, there is an opportunity for you to choose. Are the choices easy? Absolutely not. The choices tend to suck, real talk, but they are yours. And a lot of times I've experienced where people don't believe that they have the control. They're like, things happen to me, yes, but while you can't stop for certain things from happening to you, once they happen, what do you do next to address it? You can't stop somebody from what they do, but what do you do?
Now what? Now what? That's really what it is. Now what? Now what do we do next? It's always about solutions, right? Finding solutions to problems, finding solutions to what might be going wrong in your life, finding solutions to getting to that next step. It's all about solutions.
Absolutely. I got so excited. I was trying to press the button to pull up one of your slides, and all of a sudden everything disappeared. I was like, whoa, too many buttons.
I saw that, but I kept it moving for you. I kept it moving.
And I appreciate that. You know what the thing is? I say, I was asked, like, yo, are technical difficulties like part of your show? Like, is that your gimmick? And I'm like, yup, that's it. We do it every show just to see if you all are paying attention. Yeah. And I really thought, like, at 57 minutes, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Hey,
here we go. But I got you. I got your back.
I appreciate it. That's one of the reasons I have only talented people come on the show, because I got issues. I'm still working through some stuff. Oh, Commissioner McKenzie. It has been a privilege and an honor just to have you on here. And please understand, this won't be the last time you'll be here. We make demands here, and when we find good people, you know what? Next time we might even pre-record, let you get a full night's sleep in, so you can get your nap on. You don't have to be up at the incredible crack. I like the whole morning light you got going through. Is that a light, or is that like sunlight?
It's sunlight.
That's nice. I like it. Like it just falls. Okay, it falls like artistic. Like, but again, this is one of the reasons you all should talk to her. Personal branding. Like she got the angle of the light. The lipstick is not matte. It reflects it just enough. Okay.
So here's my secret. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I run, or I go to the gym because that's my me time. So whatever it is you're doing in your life, make sure you always have some me time.
Yeah, but it won't be at 4:30 in the morning for me going to the gym. I'm just good. I like my fluff. Like it's good. Like it helps. It helps me sleep better because it's like my own personal cushion. There you go.
Okay.
Commissioner, thank you so much, and I am looking forward to the next time you come and join us.
Absolutely. Anytime you need me, and let's just definitely keep in touch if you guys need anything.
Absolutely.
I'm here.
Sands and Shores on all social media platforms, baby.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great one.
You too. You guys. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Again, we have come to the end of a show, and it has been an amazing show as always. I get to know some incredible people. And today was no exception. I am so grateful for the commissioner for coming and joining us and just sharing about what she does and how we can become more active in our community. I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Same black time, same black channel.